3 times the suspense, 3 times the danger, 3 times the terror, but not 3 times the alien. Engage. Not once, not twice, not thrice.
You know what he did? He put another record on.
You need dumb people in horror movies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here talking about Aliens 3, a time where I thought it was a trilogy. I thought it was going to be a trilogy. I enjoyed it as a trilogy. A little disappointed after, but was I disappointed by this trilogy? Was I disappointed by this movie? Let's go ahead and bring on my co-host, the next doctor, and 136. How are you gentlemen doing?
I was a little alarmed because I said, who is that Negro behind the Negro that I know? And then I realized it was Charles Dutton. Rashad, you scared me for a second. I said, what's going on? Where are we at?
I mean, arguably, a star of the movie there.
Yep.
And we'll get into what I thought about his performance and his role in the movie. But I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Ready to talk about Alien 3.
Talking about Aliens 3, this is the third movie. Pretty much what happens is not almost immediately, but a little after the events of Aliens. Ship crash, ship caught fire, jettisoned, found out that everybody on board was killed except for Ripley for some odd reason that we found out a little bit later. Bishop the android was cut in half practically, but he was already cut in half, but even worse, as we'll see. I felt a little Yoda segment later. I'll talk about that in a bit. Alien is pretty much released to a dog and is wreaking havoc on everybody that's a prisoner and one that wants to rape Ripley. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it full. But first, we're going to talk about, is anybody interested in saying what they thought about this movie? Let's go ahead. I'm going to take it down to Mr. 136. Your thoughts and what you have to say about this movie.
Well, let me just say this, and this is the part of the show that Chris loves the most. Chris, I was wrong. Peek behind the curtain, I said, there's no way I want to do Alien 3. It's trash. I'd rather do Alien Covenant, which is arguably one of my favorite Alien movies in the Alien franchise. I don't care what you all say at home. I like that movie a lot. It has everything that you will want in it, okay? But we did Alien 3, and I'm watching Alien 3, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Not that bad. I'm actually enjoying it. And there's actually character development. Now, truth be told, I haven't seen this movie in years, and when I have, it's been piecemeal. I remember seeing this movie in the theater when it came out, and I didn't really grasp everything. And I will say that this movie has more versions than Blade Runner, okay? I don't know which version I saw, but the one I did on Hulu that's playing now, I enjoyed. Whatever version that is, I enjoyed it. I wish that it had been rated R so we could actually see what the alien was doing and not just have people squirting period blood all over the screen and doors of this penal colony, Fiorina. What is it? Fiorina Vin Diesel? What is it called? Fury? I don't remember. But anyway, this penal colony, 161. Okay, it was a lot of blood being splattered, but I didn't know who was doing it. Now, if you watched our last episode, Aliens 86, Chris mentioned this. He didn't put it exactly this way, but this is what he meant. He said that the alien is the hide and seek champion of the universe. But I would say there is another. And God help us if the alien facehugger ever finds Michael Myers, we are finished, because the offspring of that would be unstoppable. Ripley would have no chance. And if Ripley doesn't have a chance, neither would we. Look, I think what sells this movie, as the next doctor put it, are the actors in this movie. And it's nothing against Sigourney Weaver, but I think that she had a lot of gold to work with in this movie, okay? And again, I think they've always had good actors in the movies, but there's something about the situation / the script, because I know it was a lot of confusion and chaos and the edits and everything like that with David Fincher, but there was a lot of gold and a lot of good gold to be mined out of this. And at least, again, from the version that I saw, I really did enjoy it. But I got to tell you, at first it was a slog, because when I first started watching this movie, I didn't know what I was watching. and I can't be certain if I watched the correct movie because this is what I saw.
Careful now, girl. I enjoy you, but be careful. Take that back to the kitchen.
Now, I said, this guy looks familiar, but that doesn't look like Ripley. I mean, they said they had the same hair and everything like that. So I stopped that stream, and then I started to play this one.
Kneel, or I'll carve your lungs out, boy.
You do no such thing. This one's a girl, you idiot. Dressed as a boy. Why?
Safer to travel, my lord.
Smart. More than I can say for this lot. Get these prisoners to work. Bring the girl.
So again, they had the actor, okay, but that's not the right Ripley. But they had prisoners, so I didn't know what was going on. But finally, I saw this, and I realized, yeah, I'm in the right place. Okay, this is probably the most memeable picture I've ever seen, other than Michael Jordan crying on the internet. Everybody said, "Girls, you're in the club, and the guy won't stop talking to you with that Henny breath or whatever like that." You know what I mean? It's just so mineable, just like this movie. But the movie does have problems. I won't spoil or tip my hand as to what I think of it in the end. Who wants to go next?
Well, since I am the next doctor, I'll go next. So I'd only seen this movie a couple of times and only once all the way through. And so on this rewatch, and again, I don't know what version I was, but I know that, there were some differences. At least I could tell at the end of this movie, because I was expecting certain things and it didn't happen. I was like, oh, I guess I was watching a different version as well. And I definitely know it was a different version because it was 2 hours and 20 something minutes. Well, maybe
let me give you a spoiler alert. This is not going to be a good one, okay? So, and understand just a second, but our version that James and I watched, 1 hour 53 minutes. So
yeah,
you must have got the rated R version that he was asking about.
Yeah, I think I did because there was definitely a bit more gore than you probably saw. So it was definitely, I mean, I guess maybe the stuff that was in there. I don't know because I remember the scene with the bull or the cow, when they were stringing it up, talking about, how they would greet Ripley if they met her in, a dark hall. And afterwards, when the guy's like, oh, I'll chop it up later. And, you can tell just because of the setup that this is where the alien is gestated. But after they string it up and the guy walks upstairs, the guy that's left there, because it must be the director's cut, because I definitely don't remember this, he picks up a dead face hugger. He's like, hey, what is this? And I don't think that was in the original cut.
No.
I think they left it to your, figuring it out, even though it was kind of blatant, to figure it out that, oh, yeah, this is where the thing is. So that was more of a blatant thing. And I think that kind of did a disservice. I can see why that wouldn't be in a theatrical cut, because you should let your audience either figure it out on their own or be surprised when they see it burst out. Other than that, I mean, there were, I do like the setup. First, the progression of the setup. First, it was, okay, we don't know what's going on. An alien, they get there and get this thing. They're dealing with it. They're doing their best with what they got. And they don't know, no one has any idea of what this thing is capable of. Then the aliens, Ripley knows, she's trying to tell people, but they don't believe her. They're making light of it until the crap hits the fan. But they've got the better tech, and they're giving it a good go. And this time, she knows what it is. She's scared of what could possibly be there. She's keeping it mum and this is one of the kind of the out of character things. I'm like, maybe, you think something's going to happen, just say something. You see something, say something. And I think it's kind of one of those ones where I think she was a little out of character on that part. Maybe everyone else might think differently. But now she's in a situation where she knows what's coming and she really has no tools to deal with the situation. So I kind of like that progression. And overall, I definitely liked, that's why I've chosen for the background. I loved his performance. Then he was phenomenal in this movie. Just from the beginning, you could just tell, okay, yeah, he's been through some stuff, but he's kind of got his own little world. You can see that his character is one that's a little conflicted because he wants to, kind of live in peace. He's realized, he comes to grips with what he's done. They're here, they're just accepting their fate, and now this wrench has been thrown into the works, and he's like, oh man, this is not going to go bad. This is not going to go well. And I mean, ultimately it doesn't. But he's definitely, he's true to his character all the way to the end. He knows what he has to do. He's like, yeah, this is the second coming. This is what we've been waiting for. And at the very end, he even was like, hey, I can, could probably kind of get out of here. But, I see that thing's falling. I guess I got to stay here and fight. I could try to scramble up and maybe it'll grab me and pull me down. Or I can just stay here and take it head on. And I appreciated that, consistent character. I like consistency in my characters. And so I appreciated that with him. I do agree that there were definitely some parts in the beginning that did drone on a little bit. And again, I don't know, because it's been a while since I've seen it, if in the original they really showed the relationship between Ripley and the doctor, being physical.
Yeah, I don't remember that. In the original version, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, in the version I watched, they're in the bed, waking up together after having, copulated. And I mean, it just seemed out of character for her to go for that, to go that route. She mentioned it's been a while. She's been out in space, without anyone. But it just seemed forced to have her character do that. So that part was a little questionable, but I think that's enough for me right now. And, we'll get to my final thoughts when we get to our final thoughts section.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into our final thoughts along with some other thoughts about this movie. Stay with us. You're watching Unpopular Review.
From Mike Judge, creator of Office Space and Beavis and Butthead.
Oh my God!
If you were the smartest person in the world,
this goes in your mouth. This one goes in your butt. Hang on a second. This one goes in your mouth.
And we're stuck with the dumbest people in history.
If you have one bucket that holds 2 gallons and another bucket that holds 5 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
2? Idiocracy.
For the smartest guy in the world, you're pretty dumb sometimes.
The recipe.
I just want to say thank you for always supporting me. You my sister, girl.
That makes us a family.
I just want you to know loving you is like food.
One finger don't make no impact, but you ball up all them fingers into a fist and you can strike a mighty blow. Now this family got to be that fist.
Soul food.
Like that last shot, right?
Man, that last shot was the bomb.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back reviewing Aliens 3. I want to send a special shout out to the Wolfpack on Thursdays for actually picking a quality movie next Thursday to watch, and none other than Soul Food, while Federation Tuesday picked Encounter with such a great movie known as Idiocracy. And you know what? The fact that we're watching that movie, I find it to be complete idiocracy. Let me get a spoiler alert, ladies and gentlemen. I felt dumb watching that trailer, and I'm going to feel even dumber watching that movie. I have no idea. Like, listen to me. This might be the worst pick in the history of Unpopular Review Entertainment. I mean that. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. This might be the dumbest pick in the history of Unpopular Review Entertainment. This movie looks so freaking stupid. I wish I could drop.
What's the name of the movie, Chris?
Complete Idiocracy.
There you go. And you said that you've never seen this movie before, right?
You know why? Because I have a brain cell.
No, I'm very curious what you'll think after you see the movie, because It's very well made. He should tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that the theme for our next picks is underrated comedies. So of course I picked Idiocracy for various reasons, which will be clear to him once he actually sees it. But I think that he'll secretly like that movie.
All right, let's go ahead. And I'm going to go first.
I'm pretty sure it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. Anyway, look. My pick, my final thoughts of this movie, because I'm going to go first, was this movie was actually pretty good. I think it was a great conclusion of a great trilogy. If they ended it there, of course it didn't. I thought the ending was good. I thought Sigourney Weaver was saying, hey, I love this franchise, but I got to go, even though she came back. But I like this movie. It gets a thumbs up for me. 136, what say you?
Well, let me just say this. First things first, the budget was not spent on CGI. Okay, because those aliens look terrible. I feel like there's a ghost in the background, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see him, but I can. The budget was not spent on the CGI because those aliens look terrible. We barely saw them whenever there was an action scene. Chris talked about in the first Alien movie when he does the jazz hands, in the little tunnel. You know what I mean? when Andy Dufresne is crawling through the tunnel out of Shawshank and he does the jazz hands and then the light goes up. In this one, there's literally a scene when the alien is right here in my eyeball, but the actor in the movie can't see it. And finally, he looks this way, and the alien's like, "Oh shoot, you can see me!" And it literally looks like a dude jumping down from like a 5-foot ledge in front of the guy. And then there's a lot of this where the camera's right here, so then the alien goes like this and just blocks it, and I can't remember if David Fincher did the 12 Monkeys, but it was very similar to The Futures. Both of them look dystopian. Both of them look like nobody had any tide, any dawn. What's the one that brings back the colors to clothes? Because there was none of that in this one. At first, I thought it was Zion in Matrix 2, okay, because there was a lot of that going on, but nobody was dancing around and sweating in some kind of hip-hop in that soul food trailer music. There was nobody dancing to that soul food trailer music. Shout out to whoever picked that movie. Shout out to the movie announcer again for going full black like Robert Downey Jr. and using his soul voice, when he does it. Not like his "You Got Mail," not that voice, but his soul voice. He gets paid extra due to the soul voices when he does the trailer. Shout out to that movie. Also, shout out to Potato Salad, our second highest film behind It's a Wonderful Life. What did I think about this movie, though? The CGI gets a thumbs down. The story gets a thumbs up, even though I thought, Ripley, you gave it up mighty quick for somebody who just landed on a penal colony. But again, she went through a lot. She didn't have no kids anymore. They killed the kids. She did all of that to save that little girl. And they said, oh, baby girl got a hole in the chest now. Like that. She just crashed for no reason. There's no explanation. The baby girl just crashed. Hicks, who was supposed to be beating her down in that way, ladies and gentlemen, he got a pipe through the chest. No pun intended on that one because it's a penal colony. and then she just gave it up to Charles Dance. I'm like, what's going on? But I will say this: had he survived that fight in that narrow hallway with that alien, okay, Charles Dutton would have been the new Ripley, okay. I don't know what they would have called his character name. And that's one of the biggest problems with this movie. You only know them by the actors' names. I can't remember a single character's names. And say what you will about the trope of aliens with the Space Marines, but you remembered their names. In this one, I know one of them was called 85 because they kept calling that. But I don't remember The Rock's name. That's Charles Dutton from The Rock. I don't remember Tywin Lannister's name. That's Charles Dance's character. I don't remember. I remember 86's or 85's names. I know Ripley because she's been in 3 movies. But who are these other people? Why are they there? Do we really care? But I'll grade this movie the same way Chris grades so many of mine. I had such low expectation for this movie that it was able to meet it. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about my vote last week. I'm just kidding. I didn't vote for her at all. I'm going to give a thumbs up to this movie. A tepid thumbs up. Doctor?
Well, I will say that I do remember one name because, you know, as you say in our intro, there's always going to be somebody stupid in horror movies. And even though they weren't someone that was stupid, they definitely did something that was stupid. You know, the story had to move along. You know, it couldn't just be wrapped up in a nice, neat bow. Gallic had to be the idiot to open up the prison and let the alien out. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you are, you know, our second coming, you know, embrace me. And the alien did, you know, on all of his stupidity, he got killed. I agree. Most of the people, even though there were some good performances and some great characters, they weren't as memorable for their names. But definitely Charles S. Dance, I mean, he did, again, as I mentioned in the first part, a phenomenal job. You know, I think he really, I wouldn't say carried the movie, but he definitely pushed it forward. You know, he was a great co-star in this movie, I would say. And, you know, I think his performance was really what allowed me to enjoy it, even though, you know, I love the Alien franchise. This one wasn't one where I was that particularly vested in because it was just so set apart. You know, I did like the setup, but it was so set apart that it didn't really feel as cohesive or as a part of the main storyline. You know, yeah, Ripley was there, but she wasn't really acting totally like Ripley. You know, the alien was there, but, you know, she even talked about it as not acting just like the normal aliens. But I believe that's because it was from a cow instead of from a human. So it didn't have the same, I guess, genetics. And yeah, it was such a departure that it was a little hard to get into, but it was enjoyable enough with both of their performances that I can also give it a thumbs up, but it definitely had its problems. So I wouldn't say this was one of those perfect trilogies. It was just a good trilogy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 3 thumbs up. Hey, shout out to Bishop's creator who came out looking very Bishop-like. And shout out to Bishop himself who had the nastiest death I've ever seen. He had so much face hugger excrement coming from his face and body. I thought he was pregnant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching us here at Unpopular Review Entertainment Federation Tuesday. We will see you on Thursday for what movie did they play? Soul Food. Such a good movie. And
Potato salad.
No, potato salad was last Thursday.
Oh.
And then this coming Tuesday, we're going to be next week when we come back. We're going to watch Idiocracy. Thank you so much, James. Hey.
You're welcome.
4136 for the next doctor. I am the exec consultant, and we will see you right here next time on Unpopular Review. Good night, everybody.
Go shove a kid.